that everything that we're seeing online is just a reflection of what's going on in the inner world, because our inner world is what is creating our outer world. You're actually magnetic as fuck when you're not only attracting the things that you desire, but also repelling the things that you don't desire.
The Mindspo Podcast.
What do you see with your mind's eye?
Welcome back. Let's elevate. Roll your shoulders up and back. Unclench your jaw. Elongate your spine as you take a deep breath in. And now, exhale. Now take your mind to that person, place, or thing that you have gratitude for, and start to feel into the joy available to you at all times. Elevate into a higher vibration as we expand together and dive into this conversation.
Welcome to the Mindspo Podcast. My name's Rochelle Fox. I am your host. And if you're new here and this is your first podcast episode that you're ever listening, I just want to say hi. And if you're coming back for more, hello as well. Hi to everyone, really. It still amazes me, podcasting, that I can record these episodes in my time, space, reality. I'm sitting in Bali right now. I'm actually having like a weekend of recording podcasts. So a lot of the podcasts that you're listening to have been recorded back to back. And the podcast that I'm recording right now, it is really a continuation of last week's podcast episode. And it's, you know what? Out of all the podcasts that I'm recording, this one makes me a little nervous because I'm still really working on what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm still in the process of embodying this fully myself, and I don't want to speak this into existence, but I do feel like we all have challenges that we come here to learn and to overcome. And we all have part of our soul's journey and like lessons or like key things that we have to go through. And I definitely think learning to be disliked, learning to be polarizing, learning to not need to be at peace with everyone is something that I am definitely here to learn. I'm someone that really doesn't like to have discord with anyone. While I'm not like a massive people pleaser or like a kiss ass kind of person, I, at the same time, really just don't like having beef with people. I don't like having anger or discord with anyone in the world. And I found being online putting yourself out online, talking about spirituality and esoteric concepts and the mind, and just being someone who is a free thinker and goes out there and says her thoughts on a microphone for anyone to listen and judge and post about and remix. It's not easy to hold space for that and to be okay with everything that comes with it. And maybe it's easy for some people, but it's something that I've had to continuously learn to get better at like holding that ability to be rejected and to have other people be repelled by me, which is what today's podcast is all about. And it's been such a journey for me to learn that. And I'm getting better at that every single year. I've got to say that. And something that's been really big for me in the teachings of my book, Magnetic, and even just the embodiment of these teachings and the understanding of this work on a personal level, is that a magnet doesn't just attract, it also repels. And if you haven't listened to last week's episode, I really do recommend going back and listening to that one as well, because it really talks about how when we focus on what we're actually repelling and what we're actually rejecting in our life, or what we're finding hard or we're finding resistance with, that's how we can become such powerful manifestors. That's how we can actually take that personal responsibility, which in my dictionary means responsibility, because no one likes the word responsibility. So I've recalled it personal responsibility. But when we can take that personal responsibility for what we are repelling in our life, that's when we are going to take responsibility for what we want to attract and what we want to call into our reality and bring into our magnetic field. And it's so interesting because I'm really learning to be better at repelling people. Oh my gosh, just as I say the word repelling, there is just like so much action in my mouth. I don't know if you have this reaction, but a lot of the time in my life when I speak a lot of truth for myself, or I'm rewiring my programs in my mind by doing EFT tapping or any kind of energetic work, I'll have a lot of saliva come up in my mouth. And for me, that is really just like an indication that I'm speaking my truth and I'm being uncomfortable. So yes, this concept of repelling, I've never really enjoyed repelling people or or being polarizing. I'm definitely someone that feels my place of comfort. And also, I do believe my place of alignment is really a place of peace and being in the middle, finding the middle way. But as I've dived into these teachings of magnetism and really learning to just be the full embodiment of a really strong magnet for what it is that I want to create in this world, to be someone that is able to just attract things with just ease and so much flow. You attract so much better when you learn to repel the things that are not in alignment and you actively allow those things to be repelled by you. And what I mean by that is you really allow yourself to show up as your whole self and not water yourself down because you're wanting to be liked or you're wanting to be loved and accepted by everyone. This is just a common thing. This just goes so back to our caveman programming where we want to be liked and accepted by the tribe. We feel so much more safe and secure when we have so many more people like on our team that are there supporting us. But I think in this modern culture, we can take this too far because we're not just dealing with a tribe anymore. We're not dealing with 150 people or 120 people in our little community, in our sector that are there with us, part of our family unit. We're dealing with the whole entire internet. And you can't expect the whole entire world and the whole internet to like and to love you. And I think as well, when it comes to social media, taking it away from the whole entire internet, because I don't think everyone wants to be liked by the whole entire internet, but even just our social circles, they feel a lot more expanded. They feel a lot bigger because of social media. So having everyone that you've ever met feel like they feel connected to you or aligned with you, or they still like you or agree with you because you're connected with them. And I think we have to remember back in the day, before we were so connected with the phones, with internet, with everything going on, we wouldn't be so aware if someone liked us or disliked us. We wouldn't have that feedback of social media or of being invited to the event or seeing what was going on in their life and then judging why we weren't a part of it and just observing everyone's life and also putting our life up for public consumption. It really has created this sense of approval seeking. And in that, I do believe that authentic expression has really been crushed. There is so many trends. When you really think about the internet these days and you think about the trends that happen, which I love that side of the internet. I think it's really fun to be able to express yourself in these chapters of life, but it has in some essence created this caricature that we feel like we can go into, especially when it's the mob wife trend or the clean girl aesthetic. And then all of a sudden we're curating ourselves to a certain look on the internet. And I definitely feel like I've been part of this. I think this is just how society is and how reality is. You fall into these trends and these aesthetics and you're buying the same things and we're being marketed the same things and we're part of this global conversation. And I think a big part of that is that global conversation is a reflection of what's going on in the collective consciousness. And we have to remember that everything that we're seeing online is just a reflection of what's going on in the inner world, because our inner world is what is creating our outer world. But I think that the issue that it can really create is when we so focused on being accepted by the outer world that we stop allowing our inner world to be its authentic expression, to be in its fullest creativity, and to really allow ourselves to think outside the box, because we're so focused on someone liking us and being attractive to as many people as possible. And when it comes to the concept of magnetism and really going into this work of really being a strong magnet and being a strong magnetic force for all that you desire, you're actually magnetic as fuck when you're not only attracting the things that you desire, but also repelling the things that you don't desire. And when you are in this place of polarization, because you are just so strong in attracting what it is that you desire, that naturally everything works in balance. On the flip side, you are polarizing and repelling all the things that you don't desire. I want to give you this teaching in an example so it really lands with you. Are you ready to unlock the secret to manifesting? Introducing Magnetic, my debut book that reveals the hidden keys to attracting health, wealth, love, and limitless abundance into your life. Now look, as a Mindspo listener, you already know the power of conscious creation. And now with this book, it is time to take your manifestation powers to the next level by unlocking the secrets of your subconscious mind. Now, for a limited time only, when you pre-order Magnetic, you'll also receive exclusive access to the Magnetic Portal, a sacred space where manifestation meets community. Inside the portal, you'll also discover my secret Magnetic podcast series featuring deep dive teachings I have never shared before, revolutionary EFT ceremonies designed to reprogram your subconscious for abundance, guided meditations to amplify your manifestation powers, and exclusive bonuses only available to those who pre-order to accelerate your spiritual journey. These bonuses are only available for a limited time, so click the link below to pre-order Magnetic and unlock instant access to the Magnetic Portal and join my growing community of conscious creators just like you, already creating their dream lives. I'm sure you know Miss Taylor Swift. I truly believe when I think about people that are super strong magnetic forces, Miss Taylor Swift is a absolute magnetic force. Like, she is such a strong magnet in this time-space reality. And when you look at her career and you look at the world that Taylor has created and just the energy of her fan base and the Swifties and everything in her reality, she is constantly attracting and repelling at just such a powerful rate. Like, she is just like a super magnet, really. And the thing about Taylor is a lot of people love Taylor Swift, like absolutely adore her. I think she's great. I love her music. I really enjoy her as a person and as an artist. And I think she's just fascinating and someone that is incredibly clever and interesting. But then there's a lot of people that absolutely hate Taylor Swift, that just jump on every single place that she's mentioned and call her a talentless cat lady and just absolutely shit on her, which is wild when you think about calling Taylor Swift a talentless cat lady. I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't produce that many albums and call someone talentless. You need to come up with a better insult. But regardless, people are always, they have their opinions, right? And we're all entitled to our opinion, whether you like Taylor Swift or not, like, that's fine. But she is someone that is so magnetic because she is both attracting this incredible, loyal fan base that will go to the ends of the earth to defend her and support her and be in her world, while at the same time, she has just created this sector of people that just don't stand for anything that Taylor stands for and are repulsed by women wearing glitter and girls going and dressing in their like kind of youthful essence. And for some reason that really triggers them. And it's so interesting to me because she is so authentically herself and so authentically the artist that is Taylor Swift, and this image that she's created and these kind of eras that she's created for herself. She allows herself to be so in that and own that in such a powerful way. That is why she is so magnetic. It's because she's not trying to be for everyone. I'm sure she just really has learned over time just not to give a shit about all of these people that are not in Taylor's world, because Taylor's world is now so freaking big that she could just live in her world of people loving her and adoring her and being in her energy. And she gets to create from that beautiful space because she's created this incredible ecosystem that has just come from her being her authentic self. And it's through that she is so attractive to so many people, because she's not trying to be anyone else. She's not trying to be another artist. She's not trying to make everyone agree with her. Recently, she spoke out about politics, and that's probably one of the most polarizing things that she could have done, because there she is, standing for her truth. Again, everyone has their truth. I'm definitely not getting political on this podcast, but she spoke about her truth in something, and that created a lot of people completely repelled by her, and then a lot of other people completely attracted to her on the flip side. And this is the true essence of being a magnet, both attracting and repelling. So really think to yourself, where in your life are you focused on attracting the people that you actually want to repel? Where are you minimizing yourself and watering yourself down to be liked and loved and accepted by everyone, when really you know who it is deep down that you want to magnetize towards you? Because you're going to get to that person that you want to magnetize towards you so much faster if you allow yourself to actually repel some of the people that are taking up all of this energetic space in your ecosystem that they shouldn't be taking up, because they're not who you want in your field. So give yourself permission to repel people. Give yourself permission to stand tall, to be bold, to speak out, to have people be like, oh, you know what? I really don't like her anymore, or she's not really my vibe anymore. I am sure, I have no doubt in my mind that ever since I stopped this podcast, there are people that have turned off this podcast and they're like, yeah, she was good like a year ago, but she's not really where I'm at right now. And that's okay, because now I'm sure starting the podcast again, maybe it's you listening right now. Maybe you've just found my podcast for the first time, and maybe you're loving this conversation, and maybe you feel like this is exactly where you need to be. And that is because I have attracted you. I am talking about the things that are attracting you and calling you in. And that is incredible. But at the same time, I'm fully aware that I'm also repelling people. And when you can be okay with the fact that if you want to truly be a powerful magnetic force, that you are not only just going to attract people, but you're going to repel people, let me tell you what. That is when you're going to find so much peace. That is when you are going to be in your full expression. That is when you are going to just feel absolutely electric about what you're doing, about what you're putting out there, because you're not worried about all the people that you're repelling. You just start to realize that the people that you're repelling, they're just creating space. They're just moving energy out of your field so that you can call in the people, things, the places, the abundance that you are looking to magnetize towards you. And through repelling all of those other things, you have just created so much room for the things that are truly aligned for you and where you are currently at. So I have some homework for you today. I really want to challenge you to be more polarizing, even if it's just in a small way. And this is, for me, still something that I'm taking baby steps with. And it's something that it doesn't have to be this crazy big thing, but it can just be like the slightest micro shifts. And so often we don't really realize that these little things are actually the big things. It could just be wearing a certain color or wearing a certain style. I'll give you an example. Today, on my podcast, I usually wear very muted, chilled colors because I think it, shows up well on camera and it looks a little bit more professional and whatnot. Today, I decided to wear like my energy rainbow t-shirt with all my angel numbers on it, because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just talk about like repelling people. And I know when I wear little cute outfits like this and a little top with angel numbers on it, I know that there's some people that will see this on Reels or TikTok and they'll be like, oh God, an astrology babe. People just will have some kind of like judgment of me in what they think spirituality is, or their opinion of like spiritual teachers or whatever. And then they'll just slide off and they won't even give me a second of their time because what I'm wearing isn't a match for who they are and what they believe. And that's okay, because they're probably not a match to me and what it is that I want to pass on and share. So I just want you to challenge yourself to be a little bit more polarizing, to be more in your authentic energy and your authentic expression, and use this energy of repelling to really practice the art of magnetism. Stop just focusing on attracting. No, you can sometimes attract and magnetize things by repelling things, by being so clear on what you don't want, what you don't stand for, who you are not. And in doing that, you actually become closer to who it is that you are and who it is that you want to be and who it is that you want to attract into your life. So don't be afraid of ruffling some feathers every now and then. And just know that it's okay. At the end of the day, I think humans get so fucking caught up on opinions and like our beliefs about people and our opinions about people. If someone doesn't like you, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. If someone has a judgment about you, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. And that just reminds me of this incredible quote that I heard Tom Holland say once, which was, if you don't have my number, then you actually don't have a problem with me. So all of these people that you're worried about on the internet or on your family group chat or that bitchy girl from high school that you don't speak to anyway, like none of these people matter. what you need to focus on is the people and the things that you're attracting into your life, and focus on that world. So if being your authentic self repels people, if you showing up as the real you doesn't align with certain people in your life, then they're not meant to be in your life. They're not meant to be in your world. And how you can create like a stronger world and a stronger ecosystem to exist in, I really do believe, is by being more polarizing, is by allowing yourself to use this energy of repelling, because the more you repel, the more you attract. The more people you repel, the more people you attract, because the world always finds a balance. The universe always balances itself out. This is why people that are polarizing, there are people that are so polarizing, are so loved, and they're also so hated. Most people that are absolutely adored also at the same time are, on the flip side, not adored by another group of people. And that's okay. As long as you're living your life in alignment with your truth and you're living life in alignment with your own values, then that's all that matters. So, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. And just lastly, I want to say, if this conversation was a match for where you are right now, if we are on the same vibe and you are new here, or maybe you're a returning listener, I just want to ask, if you haven't already, it would mean the world to myself and my small team if you left us a review. So if you're listening on Spotify, all you need to do is just click the 5-star button, and that will leave a little 5-star review, which helps us so much get out on the Spotify charts, and it just pushes the podcast up so more people can find it. And on Apple Podcasts, you can leave a little 5-star, but there you can actually write a little blurb review. And I got to say, every single week in the team meetings, we like to read the reviews out loud and just talk about who's been listening to the podcast. The feedback just really helps. My love language is words of affirmation. It's always epic to hear when I am attracting the people that I'm desiring to attract into my field and that are connecting with me, and being okay with all the people that are falling out of my field, because that is how you become a strong magnetic force. I will see you in the next one. Until then, I'm sending you so much love.
Thank you for joining me for this episode. You can discover more from Mindspo on Instagram and TikTok by following @Mindspo and myself @Rochelle_Fox. If this episode inspired you, then please pass it on and share the love. And if you're new to our world and you want to elevate your mind and step into your best self, then be sure to download our app, Manifesty, from the App Store and take advantage of the free trial. With Manifesty, you can create your own vision board movies, practice powerful meditations, and set affirmation reminders so your phone supports your journey towards that abundant vision of your future. And lastly, always remember, you create your own reality. So go and make some magic.